Hello, dear students. Today we will take another lesson, that is atoms and molecules. It is the third lesson in our science book. Uh, Regarding this lesson, first I will give you the introduction about the atoms. Atoms. Uh, First, the idea of divisibility of matter, because all matter is formed of small atoms, and when we divide the matter, when we break the matter, and this matter is formed of small particles. And actually this idea that how matter is formed is not the new idea. It is very old area, and the consideration of the matter and its divisibility and its parts uh, goes back to 500 BC. The idea of divisibility of matter was considered long back in India, around 500 BC. Here in India, there was a philosopher, Maharishi Kanand. He was a philosopher, uh, an Indian philosopher, discussed it in his book Darshan or Visesik Darshan. He said, if we go on dividing matter, we shall get smaller and smaller particles. A stage would come beyond which further division would not be possible. He named these small particles as Parmanu. This statement means that, for example, this is the piece of chalk. This is a piece of chalk, and I will try to break it, and I will get two pieces, and then again break. I will get the powder of the chalk. I will again break it, continuously break it, and I will find the small particle. I will try more to break that small particle, but I cannot break that small particle into another smaller particles. And this particle, which cannot be divided again by simple machinery, or we cannot divide the small particle again, this particle is called as Parmanu by Maharishi Kanand. After that, another philosopher explained his statement, Pakhuda Katayana. He was again Indian origin. He said that particles exist in a combined form which give us various forms of matter. He said that he explained his statement that the particles which are very small, they combine together and form a different structure which appear before us in the form of matter. That means indirectly he said, Pakuda Katayana, he said that these small particles constitute matter. And after that, another philosopher, they were Greek philosophers, Democritus, in 460 BC to 370 BC. It becomes the reverse because it is the landmark point. 460 BC to 370 BC before Christ. And Leucippus, another philosopher, the both philosophers said that the continuous division of matter will form a smallest particle which cannot be divided. Again, these philosophers, they said the same thing which was told by Maharishi Kanand. That means if a matter is continuously divided, and at last a particle is formed which cannot be divided again, and Democritus called these particles as atoms. That means, what do you mean by atoms? Undivisible. The meaning of atom is undivisible. Atom cannot be broken down. It was the concept of Democritus in before 500 BC. Now today we have different concepts, different, though bases of the atoms are same. That means every particle, every matter is formed of the atoms. Now these atoms, how they combine, how they react with each other to form the matter. And this in this lesson, the first topic we have to cover about is the laws of chemical combination. That means how these atoms, they are combined in a chemical reaction, or they react with each other to form another product, and how these atoms going to affect the products, or the products are going to affect these atoms. And the laws of chemical combinations, at your level you have to study. There are actually two laws, but more in your higher studies you will learn more about these laws. But at your level there are two laws of chemical combination. There are two laws of chemical combination, and I wrote here the first law of chemical combination is law of conservation of mass. It was given by Antony Lavoisier in 1800 century. This law of conservation of mass, which was given by Lavoisier, it states that the mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. That means we cannot create or we cannot destroy the mass in a chemical reaction. It means that during chemical reaction, the sum of the masses and the sum of the reactants and the products are unchanged. The mass of the reactants and the mass of the products are not changed. That means it remains unchanged. For example, if hydrogen plus oxygen forms water, it means that the mass of hydrogen plus mass of oxygen, it gives the mass of water. That means if there are 2 grams of hydrogen, 2 grams of oxygen, for example, the mass it will become the 4 grams of water. I am telling you about the example of this statement, that conservation of mass cannot be created nor be destroyed. That means, or if we break these 4 grams of mass, it will break into 2 grams of hydrogen and 2 grams of oxygen. Here is the activity. By activity you can prove the law of conservation of mass like this. We have to add sodium sulfate in a flask, in a conical flask. This is the conical flask having sodium sulfate solution here, plus barium chloride solution, and add a test tube in which barium chloride solution, this one, is present in test tube, which is tied with a thread, and the mouth of the flask is plucked by the cork. And after that we have to weigh them. We have to weigh them or balance on the balance. For example, the weight of this substance is 300 gram, for example. Now what we have to do, we have to release this test tube, the contents of the test tube, into the flask, so that the reaction will occur. That means sodium sulfate will react with the barium chloride, and they form the different products. These are reactants, and they will form the products, and the product is sodium chloride and barium sulfate. When the sodium chloride and barium sulfate is formed in the flask, like this flask, and you will weigh the contents of the flask, and again 300 gram you will find. This means that the reactants and the products, the mass of these two substances, reactants as well as products, it remains unchanged by chemical reactions. No effect is on the mass of these reactions on reactant side and product side. Thank you.